Ladies and gentlemen, I, G. Javed Rasool, a self-proclaimed Lucknow boy in late 60s, stand before you today to share my reading of Gandhian truth and non-violence. A truth questioning the authenticity of most truths, practiced with oneness of adoration as the eternal bedrock of material life, and proclaimed as God could only be the truth Mahatma Gandhi experimented. Gandhiji fashioned truth as passion, as an impulse in his life. His truth was free from the vanting of idolization, never willing to shroud it in mystery, nor ever sought a metaphysical explanation. Instead, simply worshipped truth as supreme force and practiced as a means for self-realization, as an instrument of knowing. Constructing his own knowledge of God, his truth was essentially a pursuit for being alive, a tool for experiencing the material world. Gandhian truth or Satya is endowed with Sat, that is the essence, and as such, it is marked by its omniscience as God. This knowledge of God was true enough and manifested in the form of a consciousness which gives meaning to ahimsa, the non-violence, and transcends the bounds of language and reason both among believers and non-believers alike. The Gandhian practice of ahimsa, in turn, begins to reveal Satya, gradually leads to its consciousness and brings about the unity of our being. Thus said, both Satya and ahimsa define together the human character and conduct, a personal way of living, and flare in unison as the instruments of augmenting humility, withering egoism, addressing social injustices, setting example of an exemplary life, and eventually results in harmonizing all creatures on the planet. The truth Bapu thus proclaimed was an ensemble of fragments in an eternal unity, but his notion of truth was relative. From his vantage point, truths are not to be taken as universal. Therefore, clinging fragments drawn from diverse points of view becomes essential for realization of absolute truth. The Gandhian method, moreover, called for cultivation of pure consciousness of the truth to evade elements of subjectivity and impending fanaticism. Gandhiji imbibed the nitty-gritty of ahimsa in the process of his childhood formation, but his first significant lesson came from the foremost nationalist leader, Dadabhai Naoroji, who taught the youthful Gandhi in 1892 the logic of applying heroic passivity to public life by fighting evil through love. Subsequently, in 1909, he proclaimed non-violence throughout the world in his famous pamphlet, Hind Swaraj, which was to become the gospel of heroic love for home rule. It may sound strange, but the Mahatma's love for home rule was subservient to his faith in the ideal of truth. He held the opinion that violence can never free India, that Swaraj can only be attained by soul force as India's real weapon, the invincible weapon of love and truth. He defined this weapon in 1919 as Satyagraha, as a form of active resistance based on the force of love, but violence not the least. He wrote to recognize that she has a soul that cannot perish and that can rise triumphant above every physical weakness and defy the physical combination of a whole world. In his commendable moderation, he felt no resentment and sought no retribution for the perpetrators of even Jallianwala Bagh massacre, only wished General Dyer to be recalled. Moreover, while striding into politics in the event of enactment of Rowlatt Bills in 1919, his only concern was to spare his country from impending violence. This political stand was fundamentally a religious standpoint, rooted in his reading of Hinduism. As per his inferences, the essentiality of ahimsa, sat, and brahmacharya, besides renouncement of acquisition of wealth, together construct the prerequisite for knowing and appreciating the real import of religious scriptures. Notwithstanding the spurt of violence at several places during non-cooperation movement, Mahatma Gandhi once again asserted his resolve of non-violent mass revolt against the government in an open letter to Viceroy in February 1922 on the event of the inauguration of civil disobedience in Bardoli district of Maharashtra. But again, in the midst of the movement, Chauri Chaura happened. The Mahatma wrote passionately about Chauri Chaura violence in Young India on February 16, 1922. And when, quote, and when India claims to be non-violent and hopes to mount the throne of liberty through non-violent means, mob violence, even in the answer to grave provocation, is a bad augury. Non-violent attainment of self-government presupposes a non-violent control over the violent element in the country, unquote. Summing up, it would be appropriate to proclaim that truth and non-violence, the two eternal principles, together constitute the article of Gandhian faith, which remains central to the idea and spirit of India, espoused by diverse religious and philosophical traditions. The Mahatma reconstructed his own knowledge of them through intense search, deep meditation, and active response to the trying socio-economic conditions in the material life of modern India. This was in brief about my reading of Gandhian Truth and Non-Violence. Thank you.